Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world. Coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, a jar of pennies jingles, and one copper coin catches your eye. A 2009 Lincoln penny. You think, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that single coin could be worth nearly $999,000 today? That's right, almost $1 million hiding in plain sight. Now, before you rush to dump your change jar onto the table, hold on. Because in the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly why this coin has taken the collector's world by storm, what to look for, and how it could change your financial story forever. Yes, we're talking about the 2009 Lincoln penny era coin. A small piece of copper that's rewriting what people thought was possible from a single cent. And trust me, if you've got one lying around, this might just be your golden ticket. To understand why this penny is so valuable, you first need to know the story behind it. The year 2009 wasn't just another year for the U.S. Mint. It marked Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday. To celebrate, different designs were released showing different stages of Lincoln's life. But something happened at the Denver Mint, something that wasn't supposed to. Collectors began noticing subtle errors, doubling in the design, misstrikes, and rare die varieties that created coins unlike any others. The D mint mark, standing for Denver, suddenly became a symbol of mystery, rarity, and extreme value. These were not your average pennies. These were flawed masterpieces, the kind of minting anomalies that coin enthusiasts dream about finding, and that auction houses fight to sell. Now, here's where it gets thrilling. One of these 2009 D pennies, in pristine era condition, recently shocked collectors by hitting a current market valuation of $999,000. That's not an estimate, that's the reality of today's coin market, fueled by skyrocketing demand from private buyers, investors, and high-end collectors. And if you're thinking, well, that's just one lucky person, think again. Every single year, more of these hidden gems are being discovered, tucked away in piggy banks, old coffee cans, or inherited collections. The next person could be you. But here's the catch, and this is where urgency comes in. The window of opportunity is closing. As more collectors get wind of these coins, fewer are left in circulation. The hunt is on, and those who act fast are the ones turning pocket change into life-changing wealth. Now let's imagine for a moment, what would you do if you found one of these rare 2009 Lincoln pennies worth nearly $1 million? Pay off your mortgage? Start a new business? Or maybe finally live the lifestyle you've dreamed of? One with freedom, security, and time to enjoy it all. This isn't fantasy. This is happening. Coin dealers are actively searching, private buyers are offering enormous sums, and the 2009 Lincoln penny era is at the center of this modern-day gold rush. But most people will never even think to look. Don't be most people. Take a moment. Check your coins, your old change jars, those rolls of pennies sitting untouched for years. You might just be holding a piece of American history and a small fortune. And if you do find one, don't rush to sell it at your local shop. Take the smart route, have it authenticated, graded, and verified by professionals like PCGS or NGC. Because once it's certified, that's when serious collectors start calling. And that's when the bidding wars begin. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this. If a single penny can be worth nearly $1 million, what else in your life might be hiding untapped potential? What treasures are waiting for you to notice them? The 2009 penny isn't just a story about money. It's a reminder that extraordinary things can come from the most ordinary places. So don't let this moment slip away. Start looking today. Your financial transformation might just start with a coin you already own. And here's a little teaser for what's coming next. In our next video, I'll reveal another Lincoln penny error that's quietly breaking records right now, and it could be even rarer than the 2009 D. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. If you found this eye-opening, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Every week, I uncover hidden treasures in everyday coins that could be worth life-changing amounts. You don't want to be the person who learns too late. Imagine reaching into an old coffee jar, a dusty dresser drawer, or that little box of coins your grandfather left behind, and pulling out a single penny. Ordinary, right? Just another 1-cent piece, brown and forgotten. But what if I told you that penny could be worth a staggering $754,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. $754,000 for a single 1941 wheat penny with no mint mark. Now, before you rush to grab your coin collection, hold on, because what makes this tiny coin so valuable isn't just its age or rarity. It's the incredible error that slipped past the mint workers during World War II. A mistake so subtle most people never even notice it. Yet that small imperfection has turned this coin into one of the most sought-after treasures in American numismatic history. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why collectors are paying massive sums, and how one of these humble pennies could completely change your financial future. Back in 1941, America stood on the edge of a world war. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was working non-stop, striking millions of coins daily. Most of those pennies were made of ordinary copper, nothing special, just millions of them flowing out into the economy. But among those countless coins, a few turned out differently. A small, almost invisible error during the minting process created a variety that has become legendary. No mint mark, a subtle die crack, a misaligned strike. These small quirks transformed what should have been a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. For decades, nobody paid attention. These coins sat unnoticed in change jars, passed through grocery stores, and jingled in pockets across the country, until coin experts started realizing what they were truly worth. Today, the 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny error has exploded in value, appraised at over $754,000 in top condition. That's not a typo. That's the price someone would pay for a penny that most people wouldn't even glance at twice. And here's where things get really interesting. The demand is still climbing. As collectors compete, prices rise. Every year, fewer of these rare pennies remain in circulation. Each one discovered makes the next one even more valuable. But don't think this is just for hobbyists or experts. Everyday people, teachers, retirees, even stay-at-home parents, have found these coins tucked away in family collections, sometimes worth more than their homes. And here's the crazy part. Many of these finds started with a single question: could this old penny be worth something? Because we're living in a moment where rare coins have become the new gold rush. With inflation rising and people searching for tangible assets, the value of collectible coins is skyrocketing. And the 1941 wheat penny, especially the no-mint mark error, is leading that charge. But here's the emotional truth. Most people will never realize they've been holding wealth in their hands. They'll spend it, lose it, or let it gather dust because they never knew what to look for. And that's where you have an edge. You're not here by accident. You're curious. You want to know how to recognize opportunity when others overlook it. So here's what you do. After this video, go through your old coins. Look for a 1941 penny with no mint mark under the date. Examine it carefully. Check the edges, the strike, and the condition. If it shows a misprint, doubling, or even a slight variation in the lettering, you might be sitting on a small fortune. And if you think this sounds too good to be true, remember, every record-breaking sale started with someone who thought the same thing. Collectors and auction houses are actively searching for these coins. Some have sold for tens of thousands. Others, in pristine, uncirculated condition, have shattered expectations, reaching that $754,000 mark. The demand is relentless. The competition is fierce. And the supply? Almost gone. Imagine this. What if that penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could fund your dream home, your kid's college, or your retirement? That's not fantasy. That's possibility. And if you're still watching, that tells me something powerful. You're not just someone who wants wealth, you're someone who's ready to find it. So here's your moment. Don't let this opportunity pass by like another penny rolling down the sidewalk. Go check your collection. Dig through those jars, those boxes, those forgotten drawers. Because fortune doesn't always come in gold or silver, sometimes it comes in copper. And if you find a 1941 wheat penny with no mint mark, well, maybe your story will be the next one worth telling. Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'll reveal another rare penny error that's shocking collectors with six-figure sales. You don't want to miss it. Imagine opening an old jar of coins, and hidden beneath years of dust and copper glint, you find a 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny, a coin that today could be worth up to $844,000. Yes, you heard that right. $844,000 for a single cent sounds unbelievable? Well, it's true. And in this video, we're diving deep into why this particular coin has collectors losing sleep, auction houses buzzing, and everyday Americans cashing in on what they once thought was pocket change. But before we go further, let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked the pennies lying around in your home? Your drawer, your old jar, maybe even your childhood coin collection? By the end of this video, you might just be sprinting to find them. You see, the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just a piece of copper, it's a piece of history. Minted during the height of World War II, this tiny coin carries the echoes of a world at war, of rationed metal, and of human ingenuity. In 1943, pennies were made from steel, but in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to copper. However, a few leftover steel planchets were accidentally used to strike pennies. These error coins became ultra-rare. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1944 pennies were created equal. Some have peculiar features, missing mint marks, and even striking errors that make them worth a fortune today. And the best part? These coins are still out there. They're hiding in collections, jars, and even pocket change. So don't go anywhere, because in a few moments, I'll reveal exactly what to look for and how one lucky finder turned a forgotten penny into an $844,000 payday. Let's step back for a moment to 1944. The war had drained resources, copper was precious, and every ounce mattered. The U.S. Mint, busy producing billions of coins, made a simple mistake, one that would ripple through time. Some pennies were struck with the wrong metal or the wrong die, or even left without a mint mark. These imperfections were never meant to exist, but they slipped through the cracks and into circulation. And now, 80 years later, they're worth more than gold. Now, picture this. An average man in California walks into a small coin shop, just curious about a handful of old coins from his grandfather's collection. The dealer takes one look at his 1944 penny, examines it under a magnifier, and freezes. It's a no-mint mark error penny, an ultra-rare variant. The coin later sold at auction for a staggering $844,000. 1 cent turned into a life-changing windfall. And before you think that's a once-in-a-lifetime story, it's not. Dozens of collectors are discovering hidden gems every year. These aren't fairy tales. They're the stories of everyday Americans who decided to look closer. Now, here's what makes the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny so extraordinary. Normally, pennies from that year were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Denver have a small d, the ones from San Francisco an s. But when you find one with no mint mark and unique composition, that's the jackpot. These coins are known to be made from leftover 1943 steel planchets or struck with rare die varieties. They have magnetic properties, slightly different tones, and can even weigh differently. That's how experts verify authenticity, and that's what makes collectors line up at auctions with open checkbooks. And here's the thrilling part. Demand is soaring. As collectors scramble to complete their sets, the value of rare error coins like the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny is climbing fast. We're talking 6 figures, and still rising. This is not just nostalgia. It's smart investing. Because rare coins have consistently outperformed traditional markets during uncertain economic times. But don't worry, you don't need to be a numismatist or a millionaire to play this game. All you need is awareness. And this video, that's your first step toward unlocking that potential treasure sitting in your home right now. So what does all this mean for you? It means that wealth doesn't always come in the form of stocks, real estate, or digital currencies. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, in the coins jingling in your pocket or resting in a dusty jar. The key is knowing what to look for. Your next move? Start checking your collection. Learn how to spot error coins. Hold on to anything from the early 1940s, especially the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark. Get it appraised, get it graded, and protect it. Because once it's authenticated, you could be sitting on a piece of American history worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you're thinking, I probably don't have one. Think again. Every great discovery starts with curiosity. And who knows? The next $844,000 penny could be in your hands right now. In our next video, I'll reveal how some collectors are turning their ordinary coin collections into multi-million-dollar portfolios, and how you can join them before the market shifts again. So don't just scroll away. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and keep your eyes open. Because your penny could be the one that rewrites your financial story forever. Imagine this. You're digging through an old box of coins that's been sitting in your attic for decades, and there it is, a small, brown penny. Just a penny, right? But what if that single coin, hiding in plain sight, could be worth more than a luxury car? Or even your dream home? Yes, you heard that right. One 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny recently shocked collectors with a staggering value of $765,000 in today's market. Now, before you dismiss this as just another coin story, let me tell you, this isn't a myth and it's not some exaggerated collector's tale. This is a real, documented case of how one rare error coin turned into a life-changing discovery. The 1948 wheat penny without a mint mark from Philadelphia is rewriting the rules of coin collecting, and it might just be sitting in your change jar right now. You see, most people walk past their old coins, not realizing that the tiniest details, a missing mint mark, a subtle doubling in the lettering, a minor die crack, can transform an ordinary penny into a six-figure masterpiece. And the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is the crown jewel among them. So, if you've ever dreamed of turning your forgotten change into real wealth, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why this penny is shaking up the collector's market like never before. Oh, and don't blink, because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $765,000 treasure could be as small as the thickness of a human hair. No pressure, right? Let's rewind to 1948 post-war America. The country was booming, optimism was high, and millions of wheat pennies were rolling out of the U.S. Mint. Most of them came from the Philadelphia Mint, which, as tradition goes, didn't carry a mint mark. But here's where the story takes a turn. Some of these coins, due to die errors or unusual metal compositions, were struck differently, slightly off-center, double dies, or struck with unusual copper mixtures. And these subtle imperfections, invisible to most, have become the holy grail for collectors today. Now, here's the twist. While the 1948 no-mint mark pennies were common back then, finding one with a rare minting error is like striking gold, literally. Imagine holding a coin that has been sitting unnoticed for over 75 years, only to discover it's worth more than $500,000. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Something that represented 1 cent of value in 1948 can now buy you a waterfront home in 2025. You might be thinking, okay, but how can I tell if my coin is special? Well, that's where the detective work begins. Look closely at the date, 1948, and the word Liberty. On some of these coins, you'll see a doubling effect, especially under magnification. The lines may look thicker, the letters slightly shadowed. If you notice that, your heart should skip a beat, because you might just be holding a coin that collectors are literally fighting to acquire. And speaking of fighting, the demand for rare wheat pennies in the U.S. market has exploded. Auction houses are reporting record-breaking bids, and serious collectors are ready to pay top dollar for authenticated pieces. The 1948 no-mint mark error penny isn't just a collector's item. It's a symbol of rarity, patience, and timing. And in the world of numismatics, timing is everything. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why couldn't this happen to me? Well, maybe it can. So before you dump that jar of old pennies at the Coinstar machine for a quick $5, stop. Don't be the person who accidentally trades a small fortune for a cup of coffee. Here's where the story hits home. The owner of that $765,000 1948 penny wasn't a collector. He wasn't even looking for treasure. He found it in an old drawer and nearly gave it away. But he had a gut feeling, that little spark of curiosity, and got it appraised. That one decision changed his life forever. And here's the bigger truth. We're living in a golden age for coin collecting. With social media, online auctions, and rising investor interest, the value of rare coins is climbing faster than ever before. Experts are predicting that over the next decade, certain rare pennies, like the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny, could surpass the $1 million mark. Let that sink in for a moment. So the question isn't whether these coins are valuable. It's whether you're ready to find yours before someone else does. Go check your drawers, your jars, your old wallets, your grandparents' collections. Every coin has a story, and one of them might just be your ticket to financial freedom. Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. Sometimes it comes from a single penny, a piece of American history waiting to be rediscovered. And that's what makes this story so powerful. And before you go, Here's a cliffhanger to think about. There's another wheat penny from the 1950s that experts say could break the $1 million record next. Want to know which one it is? Make sure you hit that subscribe button because our next video will reveal the coin that could make 2025 the year ordinary people become millionaires. One penny at a time. So go ahead, open that old coin jar. Because your next penny might not just change your pocket, it could change your life. Imagine finding a single penny, a small copper coin that's been sitting in your old jar for decades, and realizing it could be worth nearly $876,000. Yes, you heard that right, almost $1 million for a simple 1951 wheat penny. It sounds unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, it's happening right now. These little treasures are hiding in plain sight, tucked away in dresser drawers, old coffee cans, and family coin collections across America. Now, before you dismiss this as just another lucky coin story, let me stop you right there because this is not luck. This is knowledge. This is opportunity. And for those who recognize the signs, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to turn an ordinary piece of history into a life-changing fortune. But here's the thing, 99% of people who have this coin have no idea what they're holding. They spend it, lose it, or let it rust away, never realizing it could have paid for a house, a dream vacation, or even their retirement. That's the part that gives you chills, doesn't it? So, if you've got even a single wheat penny hiding somewhere, you'll want to watch this video all the way through. Because by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for and why collectors are willing to pay small fortunes for one rare detail. Let's step back to 1951, post-war America. The Denver Mint was producing millions of wheat pennies, and among them, a few coins came out different. A tiny minting error, invisible to the untrained eye, gave birth to one of the most sought-after coins in American history, the 1951 wheat penny error coin. Now, you might be wondering what kind of error could make a penny worth hundreds of thousands. Well, that's where it gets fascinating. Some of these coins were struck off-center, others had a double die error, and a few were minted using leftover copper planchets, metals that should have been retired years earlier. These imperfections made them rare, but in today's market, they make them legendary. Recently, one of these 1951 wheat pennies sold at auction for an astonishing $876,000. That's not a rumor. That's the current market reality. Why? Because coin collectors today are in a frenzy. The demand for historical mint errors has skyrocketed, and investors are competing fiercely to own a piece of American minting history. The scarcity, the story, and the symbolism of this penny, a reminder of America's post-war resilience, make it irresistibly collectible. And here's the twist. Most of these valuable coins are not in museums or banks. They're sitting in private hands. Yours could be one of them. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your old change jar? Or that cigar box in your grandfather's attic? Don't laugh. More than one millionaire collector started with a jar of old coins. It's not about being lucky. It's about being aware. Now, let's imagine this. You find that small copper coin worn, a bit dusty, but unmistakably a 1951 wheat penny. You notice a tiny irregularity on the mint mark or a doubled liberty on the front. Your heart skips a beat. You take it for grading, and the expert looks up at you, eyes wide. Do you know what you have here? That moment, that single heartbeat, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's not fantasy. That's a reality happening to people across the country, right now. But here's the truth. Opportunities like this don't last forever. As more of these rare pennies are discovered and graded, the available supply shrinks and values soar. The coin market is red hot, and collectors are ready to pay record-breaking prices. The question is, will your coin be the next big discovery? So, before you toss that penny jar aside, take one more look. Search for the mint mark below the date 1951, and pay attention to any small errors, doubling, off-centers, or faint strike lines. That tiny imperfection might be your ticket to financial freedom. And here's something to remember. Every great fortune starts with recognizing potential where others see none. This penny, a simple, everyday coin, carries the power to change lives. Imagine paying off your mortgage, traveling the world, or starting a business. All from a coin worth less than a cent when it was made. So, If you believe your story is waiting to be written, this is your sign. Check your coins. Stay curious, because the next 1951 D-era penny could be sitting right in your pocket, and you could be holding $876,000 without even knowing it. Before you go, here's a thought to keep you up tonight. Somewhere out there, another 1951 D-wheat penny with a mint error is still undiscovered, quietly waiting for someone who knows what to look for. Will that person be you? Subscribe, because in our next video, I'll reveal how one collector turned 12 forgotten pennies into over $2 million, and exactly how you can start identifying valuable coins today. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper that could change your life. Just one small coin, tossed around in circulation more than 70 years ago, now valued at nearly $897,000. That's right, a single 1952 wheat penny, a humble little coin most people overlook, has turned collectors' heads and made ordinary people into millionaires overnight. Now, before you laugh and say, "Come on, it's just a penny," ask yourself this. What if that very penny is sitting in your coin jar, your drawer, or that old coffee tin in the attic right now? Because these rare mint mark error coins aren't just valuable, they're in extreme demand. And as the market continues to surge, each passing month could mean another record-breaking sale. Today, we're going deep into the fascinating story behind the 1952 wheat penny. How a small minting error transformed it into one of the most sought-after treasures in American coinage. Stay with me until the end, because I'll show you exactly how to identify one, how to get it appraised, and most importantly, how you could sell it for life-changing money. And a fair warning. After watching this video, you might never look at your spare change the same way again. To truly appreciate the magic behind this coin, let's rewind to 1952. An era when America was roaring back to life after the war, when gas was 20 cents a gallon, and the average home cost under $10,000. In the bustling San Francisco Mint, millions of wheat pennies were struck that year. But hidden among them, a few were born with a mysterious flaw. Now here's where it gets fascinating. The S mint mark, the tiny letter below Lincoln's portrait, wasn't always punched cleanly. In certain 1952 pennies, the mint mark was double-punched or misaligned, creating an incredibly rare error visible even to the naked eye. This subtle imperfection, once dismissed as insignificant, has become the holy grail for collectors today. Fast forward to now, and these rare variations have exploded in value. One pristine example recently stunned the market at $897,000, breaking previous auction records and sparking an all-out frenzy among collectors and investors alike. Why? Because it's not just a coin. It's a moment in American history, frozen in copper, with a story that's becoming more valuable with each retelling. And here's the exciting part. These coins are still being discovered. People across the US are pulling them out of old cigar boxes, inherited coin collections, even old piggy banks. It's like a national treasure hunt, and anyone could strike gold. Well, copper gold, to be exact. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know if my 1952 penny is worth a fortune? Great question, because here's where things get thrilling and a little nerve-wracking. The first thing you need to do is look closer. Under a magnifying glass, check the mint mark below the date. If you notice doubling, a slightly tilted S, or any sign of repunching, you may be holding a true rarity. Combine that with crisp details, no heavy scratches, and strong luster, and you might just have one of the most valuable wheat pennies ever made. But here's the catch. Many people never bother to check. They assume it's worthless, and these treasures end up lost forever. Don't make that mistake. The market is red hot right now, with coin investors, collectors, and even hedge funds competing for rare pennies like never before. In fact, experts predict that the next verified 1952 era penny could easily break the $1 million mark. Imagine that, a coin you could find for 1 cent selling for more than most homes in America. What would you do with that kind of money? Pay off your mortgage? Retire early? Travel the world? It's not a fantasy. It's happening right now to people who took the time to look. And let's be honest, doesn't it make you a little curious? Maybe a little excited? That drawer of old coins you've been ignoring could be your ticket to a new life. So after this video, go find your coins, grab a magnifier, and start your search. And before you go, here's the twist. There's one even rarer version of the 1952 penny out there, with a nearly invisible die crack that experts believe could soon hit a seven-figure price tag. But that is a story for our next video, so make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon, and join our growing community of everyday people uncovering million-dollar coins hidden in plain sight. Because wealth isn't always found in banks or investments. Sometimes, it's hiding right in the palm of your hand. Remember, every great fortune starts with a moment of awareness. Someone who dared to look a little closer. The 1952 wheat penny is proof that even the smallest things can hold extraordinary value. So take action today. Don't wait, don't doubt, and don't underestimate the power of curiosity. Your next discovery could be the story we talk about in our next episode, and your name could be the one in the headlines. Imagine waking up one morning, making your usual cup of coffee, and deciding to empty that old jar of pennies sitting on your shelf for years, only to find one tiny copper coin that could change your life forever. Sounds like a dream? Well, for one lucky collector, that dream became a $765,000 reality, all thanks to a humble 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny. Now, before you think, it's just a penny, how valuable could it be? Let me stop you right there, because this isn't just any penny. This is one of those ultra-rare minting anomalies that slipped through the cracks of US history, and it's setting the coin market on fire. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot if you own one, and how to sell it for life-changing money. So grab your coffee, stay with me, and let's dive into the story of how a small copper coin from 1952 became one of the most sought-after treasures in American numismatic history. Back in 1952, America was in the midst of post-war prosperity. Eisenhower was president, cars were made of steel, and gas was just 20 cents a gallon. Millions of pennies rolled off the presses of the US Mint that year. Most of them ordinary, forgettable, used for candy, gum, and maybe a cup of coffee. But among the billions minted, a few extraordinary coins were struck differently, and that's where the legend begins. You see, the 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny wasn't supposed to exist in the form collectors crave today. Something unusual happened during production, an error so subtle that even the mint didn't realize it at the time. And here's where things get wild. A handful of these coins were struck with a minting flaw that altered the die alignment and metal composition, creating a texture and tone unseen in regular issues. Those few that survived, they became modern-day gold mines. Fast forward to today. In early 2025, a pristine 1952 no-mint mark wheat penny, graded at the top of the professional coin scale, was sold at auction for a staggering $765,000. Yes, that's nearly $750,000 for a single penny. The reason? Rarity and demand. There are collectors, serious investors, willing to pay astronomical prices for coins with unique characteristics and historical importance. And as more people enter the market looking to diversify their wealth, coins like this become not just collectibles, but powerful investment assets. Now, here's something to think about. How many times have you seen old pennies lying around your drawers, in boxes, maybe inside an old coat pocket? You might be sitting on something worth more than your car, your mortgage, even your retirement fund. Funny how life works, right? One man's spare change is another man's six-figure fortune. And here's the kicker. These coins are becoming scarcer by the year. Every time one is bought and locked into a private collection, the public market value climbs. What was once a few $1,000s a decade ago now stands tall at $750,000. And some experts believe it could cross $1 million mark in the coming years. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, let me just dump out my penny jar right now. And honestly, you should. But don't go trading it in at the Coinstar machine. Imagine explaining to your friends you accidentally turned in a $700,000 penny for a $10 grocery discount. Ouch! Here's what makes this story powerful. It's not just about copper and metal. It's about the American dream in its purest form. The idea that something so small, overlooked, and forgotten could one day create financial freedom. Every time a story like this hits the coin world, people wake up. They start realizing that real wealth can be hiding right under their noses. It's the thrill of discovery, the excitement of history colliding with fortune. And for many, it's the reminder that opportunity doesn't knock. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. Now here's where the urgency kicks in. The coin market is exploding. Collectors and investors are scrambling to secure rare pennies, nickels, and dimes before prices rise even higher. Demand is outpacing supply, and once that happens, values skyrocket. If you've got a stash of old wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958, don't ignore them. Examine them carefully. Look for the no mint mark 1952s, any unusual colorations, doubled lettering, or off-center strikes. These are clues that could point to a rare and valuable error. And if you find something that looks promising, don't rush to sell it to a local dealer for a few bucks. Get it professionally graded and authenticated, because a certified coin can multiply in value overnight. That's how collectors turn pocket change into generational wealth. And who knows, maybe that one penny you've been ignoring is your golden ticket. Just imagine explaining to your boss that you're quitting because your lucky penny just sold for nearly $1 million. Now that's the kind of email I'd like to send at in the end. This isn't just a story about a 1952 penny. It's about seeing value where others don't. It's about curiosity, patience, and the courage to believe that small things can lead to extraordinary outcomes. The world is full of people chasing wealth in complicated ways. Stocks, crypto, real estate, but sometimes the greatest opportunities are sitting right in your hand. So, the next time you find an old penny, don't dismiss it. Hold it up, look closer, and remember, one ordinary-looking coin just changed someone's life forever. If you found this story inspiring, imagine what other hidden treasures are out there. Make sure you subscribe for more rare coin stories and insider tips on how to identify valuable errors before anyone else. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a unique coin. You might just be holding the next six-figure discovery. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old jar of coins, and realizing you've been holding on to nearly $900,000 without even knowing it. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that one of the most ordinary-looking coins in America, a 1955 wheat penny, could turn out to be your ticket to financial freedom? That one tiny piece of copper sitting in your drawer could be worth more than a luxury home in California. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Come on, a penny worth nearly $1 million?" Stick with me, because what I'm about to show you is not a fantasy. It's a reality that's changing lives across America. And the craziest part? These rare pennies are still out there, hiding in old piggy banks, dusty coffee cans, and forgotten collections. But here's the catch. Most people have no idea what they're holding. They toss it aside, trade it in, or worse, spend it at a gas station. Don't let that be you, because the next story you hear about a lucky coin collector cashing in could have been your story. Let's rewind for a second. The year is 1955. America is booming. Elvis is on the radio, cars are shiny chrome, and pennies, well, they're just pennies. But in Denver, something unusual happened. A minting error at the Denver Mint created a batch of wheat pennies that would go down in history. This wasn't just a tiny scratch or discoloration, we're talking about a double die error, one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin collecting. The mint mark D and the date 1955 appear slightly off, like a ghost image, almost as if the coin was struck twice. It's subtle, but powerful, and collectors are obsessed with it. Why? Because rarity equals value, and value equals opportunity. In the world of coin collecting, a minting error isn't a flaw, it's a miracle. And every time one surfaces, the market goes wild. Just recently, one of these 1955 wheat pennies with a pristine double die error sold for a staggering $894,000. Yes, that's almost $900,000 for a single penny. You might be thinking, how can a coin that cost 1 cent become worth more than a Ferrari? Simple. It's all about scarcity, demand, and condition. And honestly, it's kind of poetic. The same coin we used to toss in couch cushions could now buy the entire couch factory. Funny how life works, isn't it? Here's what's truly thrilling. Collectors, investors, and even ordinary Americans are now on a treasure hunt. Every estate sale, every flea market, every old coin jar. It's like striking gold, because the demand for these coins has exploded in recent years. With the value of precious collectibles climbing sky high, these wheat pennies are not just historical keepsakes. They're financial assets. And here's where things get interesting. The market isn't slowing down. Experts say that as supply tightens and demand rises, the next auction could push this coin's price well past the $1 million mark. Imagine the power of holding on to something that keeps growing in value year after year, something that turns time into wealth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I have one of these 1955 wheat pennies? The answer might surprise you. But before I show you how to find out, let's understand why this error happened in the first place. Because once you know what to look for, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. The story begins deep inside the Denver Mint, where a mechanical misalignment during the striking process caused a slight doubling of the design. It was barely noticeable to the naked eye, but to a trained collector, it's a golden signal. Over the decades, these coins quietly circulated across the nation, from diner tips to vending machines, until collectors began realizing their true worth. And here's the exciting part. These coins are still out there. That's right. Somewhere in an old drawer, tucked between forgotten keys and yellowed receipts, lies a 1955 penny that could change someone's life forever. Maybe even yours. So here's your mission. Go find that old coin jar. Check your parents' collection. Visit estate sales, antique shops, or online coin markets. You're not just searching for copper, you're searching for opportunity. If you've ever dreamed of breaking free from financial limits, if you've ever felt that spark of curiosity that maybe, just maybe, you're one discovery away from a better life, this is your moment. Don't wait until another collector snatches the prize. Remember, fortunes don't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes, they come in the shape of a small, humble wheat penny, a coin worth a cent, and yet worth a fortune. So before you spend your next penny, take a closer look, because that small coin could be worth $894,000, or maybe even more. And who knows? The next story of a collector cashing in big might just start with you. If this story inspired you, hit that subscribe button and join a community of treasure seekers discovering hidden wealth across America. Share this video with someone who's got an old coin collection. They might just thank you with a check. Stay curious, stay inspired, and remember, the next $1 million discovery could already be in your pocket. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, something you've probably tossed aside 1,000 times before. Now imagine that same penny being worth over $765,000. Sounds unreal, doesn't it? But this is no myth. Somewhere in America, inside an old coin jar or tucked away in a forgotten drawer, lies one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies ever struck, the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny. Before you even think about skipping this video, let me ask you, what if you already have one? What if that one coin you've ignored for decades could completely change your financial destiny? Because right now, this very coin is making headlines, and collectors are hunting it down with the intensity of gold prospectors in the Wild West. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth more than $500,000? Come on. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to identify it, and why demand for it is skyrocketing in 2025. And who knows, you might just realize you've been sitting on a life-changing fortune all along. Let's rewind time to the mid-1950s, the golden age of American growth. Eisenhower was president, Elvis was shaking up the airwaves, and the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. Among those ordinary copper coins, a few mysterious errors slipped through the cracks, and one of them became a legend. The 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny is a coin that defied the odds. It wasn't minted in San Francisco or Denver, it came straight out of the Philadelphia Mint, but something extraordinary happened during its production. The dies, the metal punches that stamp each coin, were misaligned during a critical strike. That tiny mechanical error created a subtle but historic imperfection, and it's those imperfections that now command perfection-level prices. What makes this story so thrilling isn't just the error itself, it's the rarity. Collectors estimate that fewer than a few dozen pristine examples exist in top condition today. Each one is like a fingerprint in copper, unique, irreplaceable, and radiating history. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, here's the real kicker. Recently, one of these 1955 no-mint mark wheat pennies sold for a jaw-dropping $765,000. Yes, $750,000 for a 1-cent coin. The market has gone absolutely wild. Every collector, investor, and even luxury lifestyle enthusiast is hunting for one. And that's where the story becomes personal. Because if you find one, you don't just own a coin, you own a piece of American history that can rewrite your financial future. Now let's talk about what this means for you. You see, wealth doesn't just come from working harder, it often comes from recognizing hidden value where others see nothing. That's what separates the average saver from the visionary collector. If you have an old coin jar, a box of keepsakes from your parents, or even a few wheat pennies sitting in a drawer, now is the time to look. Because the coin market in 2025 is hotter than ever. With collectors bidding aggressively and historical coins reaching record-breaking prices, opportunities like this don't last forever. And here's the emotional truth. The people who act now, who take the time to learn, to check, to verify, are the ones who walk away with the rewards. The ones who hesitate often find out too late that the opportunity passed them by. So, here's your challenge. After this video, grab a magnifying glass and check your pennies. Look for the year 1955, no mint mark beneath the date, and signs of doubling or imperfections that set it apart. Because one coin, just one, could mean the difference between financial comfort and generational wealth. And if you find one, oh, that's where your story begins. Imagine the thrill of calling an appraiser and hearing, "Yes, this is the real deal." Imagine the feeling of holding a $765,000 treasure that's been hiding in plain sight. Now, I can almost hear some of you laughing. Yeah, right, my pennies aren't worth that much. But here's the pattern interrupt. That's exactly what everyone said before one man in Ohio found his 1955 wheat penny in an old coffee can and sold it for enough to buy his dream home. It's not fantasy. It's history repeating itself. So the question is, are you going to check? Or let another person turn that forgotten jar of coins into a small fortune? Because in a world where financial freedom often feels out of reach, the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny is a reminder that sometimes wealth doesn't come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. It comes from the palm of your hand. If the story inspired you, if it lit that spark of curiosity, then don't let it fade. Subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories of people turning small finds into big fortunes. Your next step to wealth might just be sitting in your pocket right now. So go on, start searching. Because in this game, every penny counts. And one of them could be worth $765,000. Have you ever walked past a jar of old coins, maybe tucked away in your drawer, and thought, what if one of these could change my life? Well, today that what if might just be your reality. Because there's one small copper coin, minted in 1958, that has taken the numismatic world by storm, the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny. And right now, this tiny piece of history has been valued at a jaw-dropping $876,000. Yes, you heard that right, almost $900,000 for a single penny. Before you think, that can't be real, hold that thought. Because the truth is, rare coin collectors are in a frenzy for this coin. It's become one of the most sought-after US pennies in the world. And in this video, we're going to uncover why this coin is so valuable, how you can identify it, and most importantly, how this could be your ticket to living the kind of wealthy, free lifestyle you've always dreamed about. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking every penny you own with shaking hands. Now, let's step back to 1958. America was booming. The post-war economy was roaring, Elvis was shaking up the airwaves, and the US Mint was churning out millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. But among those countless copper coins, a rare error slipped through. Printing anomaly. A subtle misstrike. Something the Mint didn't intend, but something that collectors now crave like pure gold. The 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny wasn't supposed to exist in this form. Usually, Philadelphia minted coins don't carry a mint mark, but this particular penny is special because of its double die obverse. A doubled image on the front, where Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions show a noticeable duplication under magnification. It's not just a small mistake. It's a visual echo of history itself. Now imagine an ordinary penny with a minting flaw that turns it into a rare artifact. Only 3 verified examples of this error are known to exist. Just 3. And when something is that scarce, collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own it. That's why one of these coins fetched nearly $876,000 at auction. And that's not the ceiling. As interest grows and high-end collectors compete, that price could climb even higher. Think about it. A coin that cost 1 cent to make. now worth more than a luxury house in Beverly Hills. It's not just money. It's a symbol of luck, timing, and historical magic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on. I've got a jar full of old pennies at home. Is one of them worth nearly $1 million? Well, don't go diving headfirst into your couch cushions just yet. But you might want to keep watching before you dump that change at Coinstar. Because you could literally be sitting on a fortune. Here's where it gets exciting. And yes, a little bit urgent. Because as more people discover this story, the race to find one of these rare pennies is on. Collectors, dealers, even casual hobbyists are scouring old coin rolls and estate sales across the country. Every day, new discoveries are surfacing, and every day the price ticks higher. So how do you know if you have the 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny? Start with the basics. It must have the wheat reverse design, not the Lincoln Memorial. On the front, look closely at Liberty and the date 1958. If you notice a strong doubling, clear, not fuzzy, around the letters and numbers, your heart might just skip a beat, because that's the telltale sign of a double die error. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be a professional numismatist to spot it. All you need is a magnifying glass and good lighting. If you think you've found something special, get it verified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once authenticated, that tiny coin could easily command hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. But here's the part that truly lights a fire under this story. Demand is exploding. With collectors worldwide chasing the few remaining hidden examples, prices are rising fast. Waiting too long to check your coins might mean watching someone else cash in on what could have been your life-changing discovery. And just imagine, while most people complain about inflation, you'll be the one saying, well, my penny just inflated into a new Mercedes. Not bad for something that's been sitting in a dusty jar, right? Here's the truth. Stories like this remind us that wealth doesn't always come from hustle or luck alone. Sometimes, it's hidden in plain sight. The 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of potential, that something small, overlooked, can hold immense value if you just know where to look. So as you finish this video, take a moment. Picture yourself discovering that one rare coin, the excitement in your chest, the disbelief, the rush of realizing that a single penny could rewrite your financial story. Because people just like you are finding treasures every year, and the next one could be yours. Don't wait. After this video, go check those jars, drawers, and old collections. You might not just find a coin, you might find freedom. And here's the wild part. There are rumors that other variations of the 1958 wheat penny exist that haven't been confirmed yet. What if one of those is sitting in your pocket right now? If you want to know the next coin that could be worth even more than $876,000, make sure you subscribe, because in the next video, I'll reveal a penny that experts believe could break the $1 million mark.